What's up? What's up? Welcome to Creative Emotions. I am your host, Vaquita Q, and I just want to welcome you. What you can get here on Creative Emotions is motivation, information, encouragement, transparency, empowerment, and these good vibes, okay? Ain't nothing you can do about that. Nothing you can do about the good vibes. They coming, whether you like it or not. But welcome. Please share this with your family and your friends. I believe today will be helpful, seeing, how our world is right now. I want to invite the Holy Spirit in the room. Come on in the room, Holy Spirit. Honey, because we can't do nothing. We can't do nothing without God. If you are a believer, just know this is the time to be praying. Things around us, they are getting dark, okay? And this is not for us to be in gloom and doom. This is for us to get prepared, to get ready, to nourish yourself, to feed yourself with the word, and look for that fresh manna to come from God. This is the time for that. Definitely. I want to remind you guys about Poetry and Conversations. Thank you, Miles. You didn't show up, but I love you. Fred did.
He ain't got nothing to do.
But Poetry and Conversations, it is a once-a-month series, and the next one will be September 20th. The feature will be Drew Hall, and if you know him, he is a dynamic poet. He's been on the scene for years, and he really bring it. So make sure you save the date, September 20th. Doors open at 8 o'clock, and so I will be talking about that some more. My book, I Want My Own Husband, Mindset and Standards on Marriage. It is available. Only $15. Say it again. Only $15. That's it. And where you can find it at is www.thecreativeemotions.com. And the event that you need an MC, you need a master of ceremonies, you're looking for someone to come do poetry at your event, you can also go to the website at www.thecreativeemotions.com. That information will be there. And also for booking. This is a live call-in show. You can call 1-810-560-0658. There you go. Honey, because that little number, I'm trying, okay? Today's topic is the need for mentorship, and we need to save this generation. That's what it's about. So I have a special guest here with me. I worked with him for years. Such a delight. Very, very intelligent man. He's doing some big things. 30 years into a company that just shows longevity. But he has dreams and hopes, and mentorships is one of them. So I want you guys to give a big warm welcome to Keenan Moore, aka Lucky.
Hello, everyone. Hello. How is everybody?
What's up, Lucky? Look.
How's everyone?
How you doing today?
I'm well.
Thank you for coming on the show. I know this was just a slight conversation, and the Holy Spirit just was like, that's a show.
Absolutely.
because it's needed.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna get right into it. When you think about mentorship, were you mentored?
I was mentored by my dad.
Okay.
My mother and father was married 38 years before my father passed.
Yes, that's good.
So my dad, he was always like, trying to teach me something at all times.
Okay.
Even though it seemed like it was unfair, let's say, he was giving my sisters allowance, and then when it get to me, he run out. Oh. And I'm like, it's everybody trying to go skating or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, Dad was like, well, if you work with me tomorrow, you can make double the amount.
Oh.
And I'm like, but skating is tonight, Dad. It's.
But you learned something from that.
Absolutely, I learned that my dad was teaching me that, as a man, I have to learn to, make my own money and pay my own way.
Wow.
And he didn't want to get me caught up on him giving me money. He wanted me to learn to make my own money.
Yeah.
Because he knew someday my sisters would get married and have a husband.
Wow.
And if they didn't work, they'd have a husband.
Mm-hmm.
But as for me, I was going to be somebody's husband.
Wow, you better come on now.
You know what I mean? So I had to learn how to get my own money, and that was one of the first lessons that he taught me.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think we are lacking, just having fathers in the home. Women, we put this facade on, like we so strong. I got it. I'm their mother and their father. You can never be a father. Never. I don't even let that come out of my mouth. I told my son today, I'm your mother. It's my job to teach you. I'm going to pour into you as much as I can. But when you get older, you're going to make your own decisions. But as far as showing you how to be a man, I cannot.
Absolutely.
A lot of women can show the morals and the values to help a man maybe get to success. But we can never teach a man how to be a man. And I think that's kind of what I would say women think in general. Like, oh, I got it. He good. But we need fathers.
Absolutely. You definitely can add a substitute, but it's only for a time.
Yeah.
Because young boys grow into young men.
Yes.
And young men grow up into men. And if we don't put a male role model in its place, then those lessons will be lost on that young man.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm definitely not talking down on the women and saying that, there aren't exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that those, there are certain factors, there are certain, things that young men should learn how to do, like tie ones or not, change a tire.
Yeah.
Be able to be emotionally intelligent when it comes to having conversations that have nothing to do with you.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
Those are the things that a man deals with, because a lot of times he deals with a woman in the house. Even though he's right, he got to shut his mouth. You understand?
If he know what's good for him.
Absolutely. But those are the things, just learning to be able to not only open up a checking account, but learning to balance a checkbook.
Right.
You understand?
I don't think they teach that stuff in school no more.
Well, no, but they did. And that's the thing. Just because times change, that don't mean the changes with the times are different. It's
right.
just that, we have, just because we evolve, that don't mean that our changes in life have evolved with us.
Right.
You know what I mean? A hustle is still a hustle.
Those are still things.
If it's snow and nobody ever taught you to go out there with a shovel and shovel some snow and make you some extra money, does that mean that opportunity is not there, or that just means nobody ever taught you?
Nobody taught you. That's real. That's real.
If it's fall and the leaves falling from the tree, does that mean just because you don't have a rake that the opportunity ain't there, or that means somebody never taught you how to go out there and rake some leaves and make some money?
That's true. I was surprised. My son actually got up and went and did some snow, but it took hell and high water to get him to do my snow.
Listen.
And to do it right anyway. But he got a little taste of somebody giving him some money.
Yes, but you got to understand, what this generation does have that most generations don't have is that entrepreneurial spirit.
That is true. That is true.
Everybody want to work for themselves.
They do.
So only thing you have to do is show them.
Mm-hmm.
Show them that there is a way, and allow them to go from there. You don't have to, walk them hand to hand, but you definitely got to just show them a blueprint. You show them a blueprint how to make some money. Guess what? 9 times out of 10, they might change it a few times and make it better than what it was.
Mm-hmm. That's
true.
What I mean? That
So,
is real. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching. Sharita Franklin from 140, she's watching. She said, "Hey y'all, what's up, Lucky?"
Hey,
that's what she said. That's Rita. You know Rita.
I know
Franklin.
Rita. That's my girl.
Yeah. Hey Rita, girl. Hey. Kennedy Light. What's up, Kennedy Light? Happy wife, happy life equals facts. Happy spouse, happy house equals foolishness. Whatever. You better not play no. Get them sound effects up out of here. Shamika Water, hey cousin. She said, I love your glasses and shirt. Thank you so much. Again, share this with your family and friends. We are talking about the need for mentorship, how important it is. And so I asked you where you mentored and you had an active father in your life. So there are things that you can learn indirectly, even though it's not favorable at the time, right?
Absolutely.
Because I know stories, everybody got a story where their father was teaching them lessons, but they didn't get it until afterwards.
Absolutely.
Or when you get a little older. And so how meaningful was that? Did you have other people that you can turn to other than your father that kind of gave you those values?
Absolutely. I had friends. I have friends of 45 years.
Yeah.
Shout out to the fellas, Tricor, I love y'all, I have a crew of guys and they're the greatest. And, back then when I'm one of the few who had a father in the home.
Okay.
So, a lot of times you bouncing something off, like, I can't believe, like, dude.
And they telling you.
And they were like, dude, do you know what I would do if my dad or my mom said so-and-so? Because when you growing up, and this is the honest God truth, you believe that the people who don't have, any restrictions are the ones who got it made.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell
that
you.
That is true.
They'll tell you,
like,
absolutely,
I wish I had somebody to care about me.
I wish somebody cared about me enough to tell me what not to do.
Yep.
Because that's love.
That is.
But to allow me to do whatever I want just so I can get out their hair, that's not love,
That is true.
But it took somebody to say that to me,
That's real talk.
It took somebody to me, to tell me, a couple of the fellas, we walking down the street, kicking it. And, one of the elders on my block was going in the house and, we still talking loud. And my man like, stop the cussing.
Okay.
Miss Emily on the porch.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And we like, oh, okay. And he was like, sorry, Miss Emily, but that was the first time other than my parents that one of my partners said,
wow.
Hey. And as well
just to hold you accountable.
Yeah, if it's your kids or your friends, they listen to their siblings.
They do.
They listen to their siblings. They listen to their peers.
I had a whole situation the other day, and my son called my daughter on me. He said, "Come and get her. She crazy." And I'm sitting here like, the nerve of a kid, and now my daughter's sitting there trying to mediate. First of all, I had both of y'all. Okay, so go sit down, but just being able to see how things have changed. But it's, the parents change, and we can't blame it on the kids. It's
Absolutely.
us. It's definitely us.
Yeah.
I can say I was definitely more lenient than I should have been. And this is a part of the transparency that you will find on this show. Everything is not always good. There are things that we have to work out, that we have to actively work out, right? And so what would you say to a person, a man, or a young man who don't have anybody?
What I would say is there are people out there willing to provide guidance. And even though he might not be in your initial social circle, you have groups out there that provide those type of things, such as big brothers and big sisters. Yeah. You have Dream Kings leadership, male mentoring. Okay. You have Boys to Men youth mentoring. You have also Center of Success in Detroit. Detroit helping our youth development. You have a lot of places. The only thing, you even have Youth Works in Detroit. You have a lot of places that actually do a lot of mentoring, and if people have this, if they really want this type of guidance, it's there for them.
Yeah, and there are resources. Sharita asks, are we talking mentorship in your life, or are we including the workplace as well? We are including the workplace. I know I had somebody take me under their wing. I feel like everybody do have somebody that they look out for, and it is somebody that you can grow from. I know I've been the person, I was just doing some overtime the other day, and I had people on their toes because they looking at me like, you don't have to work that hard, and I'm telling them I'm not about to sit here You know, I don't want nobody saying, hey, she didn't work or she was sitting down or, you know, so just me working and I'm leadership, they looking at me like, oh, shoot, let me stand up. Let me, you know, so you can be a mentor at your workplace by just doing a good job, by doing your job, you know, building up the morale. People see that, you know, whether they show it or tell you or not, people see when you come to work and you positive, when you are bringing light to the situation, you know, people see that. Like you're a team leader.
I am.
And so you bring a energy to your team.
Absolutely.
You can bring a negative energy or you can come lively. You can come approachable.
Absolutely.
You can come a different way.
I with my team, I do my team a little bit different than everybody else because I believe in seniority. I believe in, and I also believe in energy. So if you work with us, and, you know, I got a pretty much high seniority in my group. But if you come to our group and, you know, that emotional intelligence isn't clear to you. And what I mean by that is that if you are in a bad mood, if you're having a bad day and you bringing that to the whole team to where it's basically encompassing everybody around you, then I can't have you back on my team because not only does that mean that you're not aware of what you're bringing to the team, but you don't care either.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? So I try to, you know, make sure that what, you know, like I said, everybody is high seniority. So I just try to make sure that, hey, everybody's treated fairly and everybody's respected. Yeah. And I truly believe that we're all one team. There's no telling on each other because we don't do that where I'm from. And and that's why, like I said, when I first came up in Chrysler, I had the older cats telling me, hey, you know, we're one unit.
That's good.
We're one unit and we're not divided. You know, solidarity means something.
It does.
And so it means something to me. Yeah. And like, you know, I have a few bad apples on my team, but, you know, the few bad apples,
pray for them.
They're definitely not the definition of the orchard. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rita. That was good. Rita said, no matter how long you've been a parent, we learn as we go. Every child is different and requires different types of discipline, teaching, etc. That is the truth, honey, because I have 3 young adults and everybody is different, but everybody should know what boils my blood, okay? Y'all should know by now. So, yeah, that's a real thing. Kennedy says, Stacey Hawkins is my work mentor. That's what's up. Yeah. Rita said,
I love Stacey.
I love her. That's my heart. We need to see it more in the workplace. I see more of our seasoned workers that we look up to gatekeeping, and that's not cool. That's a real thing. She said Stacey is her work mentor as well. Jody Russell, shout out to Jody. Rita Franklin, yes, they are forgetting to mentor the next generation and leaving us to figure it out the wrong way or the hard way. We deserve better. And she said, yes, we do, but I will not give up. Y'all better not give up. You better not give up, okay? Because you are the next generation. You're going to be the seasoned workers, okay?
Absolutely.
So we can't, cry over the spilled milk. We just have to be the change that we want to see when it comes, to the workplace. I believe that...
And we also got to be empathetic to other people's problems. I think those real. Are, one of the things that we don't do. We all about ourselves most of the time. And when you work with a group, you work with a team, you got to be empathetic of other people's problems, because if you don't, it won't be reciprocated.
And it won't change.
No, it won't be reciprocated. So they'll be like, well, that person didn't do that for me. Why should I do it for them?
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's a real thing. That comes with that emotional maturity. That comes with people being mature enough to say, you know what, I want to change this. I want to make it better than what I found it. And that goes for, and we're talking about mentorship in the workplace. If you're just joining, this show is about the need for mentoring. And so we talked about in the home, we're speaking about in the workplace, but we're talking about it in general, because I don't think people understand the value in mentorship, the value in pulling someone in and pouring into them. It would leave you satisfied. It would leave you feeling like you have done something good on this earth, and doing it with your children. Like I told my son, as for me and my house, we serve the Lord, okay? Whether you like it or not, but you will get to a place in your adult life where you're going to figure it out on your own. But the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they they get older, they won't depart. And so just having that solid foundation, telling my son, you are a God in the earth and you are creating your reality. And for him to come back and regurgitate that at some point in life, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
And so we just, we figuring this thing out. It ain't no book. And so I encourage all them parents. I think I actually just posted that, just talking about how you may feel unappreciated or, things of that nature, because we all go through it. I have a positive mindset and attitude because I choose to, because every day I'm taking down thoughts that are against the word of God. I'm taking down thoughts that don't make me feel good. I'm taking down things. I deal with it, but I'm taking it down. But mentorship is good. Shout out to my mentor, Dr. Sabrina Black. I absolutely love her. She's amazing. She's awesome and amazing. Okay. But she's been in my life for years. That's actually how my book came about. Just having that mentor, somebody to hold you accountable, somebody just to be there to show you or tell you with this. How my book came about was we were sitting there, it was COVID, and every Tuesday we had our hour, we kicked it, we talked, and she was talking about her husband and what he was doing. And I was like, I want my own husband. And I was saying it jokingly, and she was like, Q, that sounds like a book. I said, you know what it is? She said, we're going to meet every week. Start writing. We're going to meet every week. And every week I had something written down that I was bringing to her. And she was just like, wow, that's good. Bring some more. Wow, that's good. And so she actually pushed me to do what I was already, was naturally in me. So that's what a mentor would do. They would see what's in you and push you forward in that. So I thought about mentoring. Well, I feel like I mentor all the time without it being, inundated or down on paper. Right. But I feel like I do it all the time.
Absolutely.
So do you have people at work that you gravitate more to be able to mentor them? I did a lot. I had definitely when I was in 91, 90, I seemed like I was mentoring all the young cats over there. Okay. And once you get to that status of Unc status, you definitely mentoring. Absolutely. Oh, you Unc?
I'm Unc status.
I mean, 32 years, bro. You got a stake in this.
Right. So I've given advice to people and tried to do a lot of mentoring because I know I have experience to give. Mm-hmm. That's good. I also encourage a lot of people to mentor as well because as I try to tell them, try to remind people, when we first got there, we were mentored by some of the older cats, and I don't know if you and they don't do a lot of people know what they used to do, and I'm gonna tell you what they used to do. Mm-hmm. When you came in there, I don't care if it was a steward, committee man, or whoever, they would find somebody to link you up with? No, they'll find them and they'll mentor them themselves to get them ready so when they are ready to move up into the leadership, whether it's steward or committee man, they're already
trained up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they always grab one.
Okay.
I remember Todd Penn that took Sean Rooks and trained him up. And that's just how it was. Like they always took one person, trained them up. So when that time was ready, you'll be ready for that
That's what's
occasion, that experience. So
Kennedy Likes, and I think Lucky may need to bring his talents to another podcast. This is what we do. He's trying to steal you already. Get your own people. This the one you was talking to in the office where y'all was talking about positions and they should have degrees and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So y'all can talk about that on your show, okay? This is not that, okay? But shout out to This Is What We Do. Shout out to Kennedy Like, the president. And so you want to start a mentoring program. This is so exciting. This is actually how this came about. So I just want you to talk just a little bit about what that entails.
Okay. It came from a conversation that we had, and I said, you asked me how long would I be at Chrysler, and I said, I feel good and I'm healthy. I said, but what I would like to do is start a nonprofit and mentor young men. I said, one thing that is missing right now is male teachers.
Oh God, come on. Give them some. Jesus.
You definitely don't need a a teaching degree to be a mentor or a teacher, especially when we have, these schools out here now. You know what I mean? You just got to want to do it. But also, like I tell,
we need some male teachers.
I tell people all the time that, instead of using your degree, you use your, the knowledge that you have is your experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you're comfortable, working on cars, then that any young man will love to have somebody show them how to work on a car,
for sure,
how to change a tire.
I think they desire it.
If your experience can always be what your knowledge should be. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So if you have knowledge in what most kids love, you got a lot of men out here who love video games.
Yeah,
they
gaming.
love games. You know what I mean? You don't
Yes.
think that's something that some child would take interest in.
Absolutely.
Most children don't have bank accounts. Somebody can teach them how to open their own bank account and pour money into that.
Yep.
There are many things that you can use in your own your things that you do in your own life that can be used as an experience or as knowledge. Hustling. If you go out here and cut grass or shovel snow, impart a little bit of that knowledge on that person. Like, hey, if you ain't good at working rigid 9 to 5 or working at McDonald's or whatever, maybe you need to work on your own and go get a shovel or a lawnmower.
Right.
Get a lawnmower and get out there and make your own money. Hell, you 5 people on your own block will get you $100
quick.
You know what I mean? 5 people on your own block.
Guess what? The kids are not out there anymore, though.
No.
It's people with their online services, and they charging an arm and a leg. So just think about if the kids come and say, "Hey, I got 20. Can I?" We running to get that 20.
Right. Hey, can I cut your grass? Front and back, $20. They usually charging $35.
That part. They used to.
Right.
Now front and back about $75. But what was your inspiration for like quick? Because you said it quick. Like, I want to start my nonprofit mentoring. Like, what was that inspiration?
Years ago, I had adopted a family.
Okay.
For Christmas, and a few of my coworkers and we all got together and we put money together and some resources, and we did a lot for this family.
That's a good feeling.
But it initially came from the young guy who lived down the street from where I used to live at. His name was Kyle, and also my son's name was Kyle, but he was going to the military at this time. But the young guy, he would always come down and ask me, can he get my bottles or can he do some work?
Wow.
I used to throw my, refundable bottles away because I wasn't taking them to the store.
What
I'm saying? But he would come down and get them, and I would always have them packed up for him. And he'd be like, well, can I do this or can I do that? So after a while, I just started mentoring them, just training them. And then he got it. So he just started coming. He started coming down, and then, brought his mom down. And so when Christmas came and we raised $3,500 at the job, we were able to buy all his brothers and sisters.
That's some good union jobs.
Yeah, we was able to get his brothers and sisters, and I think we had about $1,500 left over, and we got a card and put it on the card and gave it to the mom or the grandmother or whatever. But from that point, I knew what we could do if we really put our mind to it. Because that one guy has graduated high school and he's playing college basketball. And like every time he come into the neighborhood, he's always coming. He knock on my door, but I don't live there. My son lives there now, and my son's name is Kyle, like his.
Oh wow!
So my son was like, "So Dad, you had to go get you another Kyle, huh?"
He feeling some type of way.
Yeah, because he was going to Japan in the military at the time, but now he back home. He was like, "Is your pops home? Tell him Kyle."
Aww.
Yeah, so
that's what's up. So that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah.
So Jody says, where it go? She said there are lots of young men, 18 to 25, that need a mentor, someone to keep them goal-oriented, build life skills, and break stereotypes. That is true, sis. That is definitely true. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Make sure you share this with your family, your friends. This is a live call-in show. 1-810-560-0658. And we are talking about the need for mentorship so we can save this generation. I am so tired of seeing all these young people dying. I don't know if that's just what they're giving us, so it looked like it's a plethora of our young black people just dying. That's kind of just what's being pushed in the news. I know it's so much more happening, but it just seems like our children, our young men, the babies are dying at a rapid rate. Do you think that has anything to do with not having a mentor, not having a father in the home?
Absolutely, 100%. I think it has everything to do with male guidance.
Yeah.
You know, we all know how hard it is for a woman to raise a male child.
Yes.
And
it is.
What it is more important is that you don't have that, you know, that voice that a man would have if he was in that home. And a lot of people rebel. A lot of young men rebel against that. You know,
they look at us like we weak.
Right.
That's why a lot of women going crazy and gotta, you know, fight these young men because you gotta try to show them I ain't the one.
Absolutely, but it's just, you know, you never know what is being told to these young boys about their father. And you know, when you rebel, they remember all the bad things that were told to them.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely.
So even if you can't get the father in his life, there's got to be somebody like an uncle or a cousin or a next door neighbor who can be applicable to this situation.
I believe, though, a good, healthy mentoring relationship is it's important to have an agreement, right? It's important to have a mutual agreement that this is what you guys are doing, because trying to force yourself on these young men, it also turns bad, right? Because I tried to basically force my son to get into a mentoring program, and he shut down. And it was more of a problem for me to have to stand my ground and be hard and get in there, like I said, than for him to just do it, you know?
Absolutely.
So you have a lot of young men they're not open to men being in their life because they're not used to it. So what do we do with that?
Well, what we do is
no uncles, no brothers.
Well, what you do is try to definitely use positive reinforcement and ease them into something. And like I said before, you know, I think, you know, the idea was great, but the technique was wrong. I think, you know, when you deal with children listen to their friends and their siblings. So you could have got one of his best friends and had them say something to him,
or go with him or something.
Right,
that's
you
true.
could have had him go with him. You know,
that's true.
But I just think, you know, the idea was great, but the technique was wrong. Sometimes, you know, we forget how a child feels. Yeah. You know, and we don't try to, you know, look at it from their point of view. So I believe we've done too much of that. And I think that's why we are where we are. I came from a era where my opinion didn't matter. My mom wasn't disrespectful to me, but all that, give me an opportunity to speak. I think there's a time for that. I think I kind of opened that up to just, you know, to where it can be taken advantage of. Right. So we do have to be careful with that. Webster Guy said, it starts with picking the right father. That is true, sir. But you don't know all the time. He just looked through. Really? Webster, you just dropped the mic like that? Oh, my.
Look, he gonna do, look at the hands. Look up here. He gonna do the...
Oh, my. That's crazy.
Dirty. But no, that's a real thing. I mean, I believe I can speak for a lot of mothers with teenage sons and, young adult daughters that, it can be challenging, but especially when the father is not present.
Well, that's where male mentorship and male role models come into play. I have a great group of guys that's been in my life 45 years. They're called Tricor, and each one has something to impart on a young man.
Okay.
And even if I started this program, I would definitely use each one of them because they all got knowledge on something to give.
Okay, so you got people in place.
Absolutely.
Come on now. Mentorship, this is how it starts. Now you can come back to this show and be like, yeah, I was talking about that. And I'm gonna bring you back when it's up and popping.
Absolutely.
So that we can, get you going. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Stacey Hawkins is watching. What's up, Stacey?
Hey, Stacey.
What's up? Jason Dixon said, great job. Yamina said, well, I don't think women go into pregnancy saying this ninja is a bum. I'm going to go ahead and have his baby. True, sis. Okay? Like, we don't. Maybe not. We've probably seen red flags, definitely. But, people can put on for their city. That's all I'm going to say, okay? And you would think something totally different. And things happen. When a relationship doesn't work, sometimes men can't handle it. They bail. And it's unfortunate, but that comes with that emotional maturity.
Absolutely.
And intelligence.
I also think that what we're doing is, this podcast isn't to be blaming anybody. So what we're not going to do is make the woman insignificant or even the man insignificant.
For sure.
What's important is providing guidance to these young men and women if they need it.
And they do.
What we need is to show not only a positive attitude when it comes to interacting with one another, but we definitely have to be able to be thoughtful of the message that we're sending when we are talking to them, because believe me, they're listening.
They are, whether it look like it or not. They
absolutely and I don't that's why I really didn't want to get into who and what
it is.
No.
That's true, because we're talking about mentorship and the need for it. She said, I thought that was lucky. Yes, the one and only Luxter. The one and only.
That guy.
But having a mentor, it has its benefits. Again, there is no age limit on it. So if you feel like you're in a spot where you need a little guidance, you need something, mentorship may be a thing for you. You get skill development, personal growth, increased confidence. Again, I was talking about my mentor with my book and how she held me accountable, and every week she was on me about it. You can have a career advancement, with mentorship, because they can help you in that area. Everything that I am moving into, my mentor already is doing it. And so I'm able to go to her for advice, go to her for guidance.
Absolutely.
Go to her and say, okay, how much should I charge for this? Or what does this look like? Or do you have, templates so I can send a bill or whatever? So you're able to, get those things when you have a mentor, when you have a mutual agreement to say, you're in my life and I'm in yours, because mentors also are blessed.
Absolutely.
When you're a mentee.
Absolutely.
So that's a real thing. There must be a mutual agreement, trying to force them, forcing your children, or you trying to force yourself on a woman because you may see, or a man, you may see them doing good and you just like, I want to see what they doing. It should be, for your personal growth, I believe, first, so you will be able to hold on to whatever it is that you're blessed with. Because you can get it quick.
Absolutely.
But can you keep what you get?
Absolutely.
You can be empowered, but inspiration, I believe, goes a little deeper, because that would push you or catapult you into, moving different.
Well, I think also that when you unsure of what needs to be done, if you listen long enough, somebody tell you, hey, this is probably what you need to do.
Yeah.
If you're missing, if you're missing a lot of time at work, somebody will pull you to the side and be like, listen here, you might be going through something, but time management is your problem.
That's good.
You know what I mean? If you're not managing your time, then this will continue to be a problem.
Yep.
And if you don't get this, taken care of, you might end up losing your job.
Yep.
So, it's not what you're doing, it's the time that it takes to manage you doing what you're doing, having enough sleep to make it to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest
Being
thing.
responsible enough. I know some people had
Absolutely.
hard stops, baby. They were like, I'm going to sleep 8 o'clock. I know some people do not play about their sleep because they're serious about their work.
Absolutely.
It's their livelihood. And so you may have a work mentor that is holding you accountable. I know on my team, when I was on the floor and I had people across from me, around me, anybody around me was getting it. Y'all all was getting it, and it was good because it was received, and they helped me as well. So I think it should be a give and take. We spend a lot of time with people at work.
Absolutely.
So why not build a relationship? Why not build up that camaraderie where you can take, constructive criticism?
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. A lot of people can't take constructive criticism. Some people's skin is thin as paper towel. That's wet. That's wet. You know what I mean? Hey, you say something to them, and I swear to God,
now y'all beefing.
Hey, they're like, I can't believe you said. I'm like, oh my.
Y'all ain't talking no more.
I didn't believe. Hey, I didn't know you would crumble like that.
And you meant well.
Right, I meant well. Sometimes, you really got to. You got to be able to know what to say, who and what to say to what.
Be led.
Because
that's what
a
I
lot
tell
of
people.
time, you don't mean no harm, but
For sure.
if you see something and you like, well, nobody has really even said anything to this person. Let me help this person.
Yeah.
Walk this walk.
Or you think you can.
Because I've walked this walk before. Let me, because that was like, let me tell you. When I came in, we had the greatest guys, and we were talking about this earlier. I had an older cat named Hansberry. I'll never forget. He used to spray clear coat on two-tone over in DS. And, I remember I'm a young guy, hanging out one night, and my car would break down all the time. He lived a couple blocks over. He would always pick me up. He used to read the Bible all the time. He used to just give me some of the great Christian knowledge. And he used to pick me up from work and all the time, and I tried to give him some money. He never would take it. His only ask was that you pay it forward. So when somebody else needed it, you pay it forward. And I'm sure you can understand that as well, right? For sure. So I had a coworker at the job, and he. A lot of times but I knew what I owed. Okay. I owed it to Barry, so I was like, whenever my man needed that, ride to work, I had him. I never asked him for a dime. That's what's because it was given to me. Okay. And I didn't want to mess the blessing. That part. I didn't want to mess that blessing up.
Keep it going. Keep it going. That's what's up. Stacy says, so very proud of you, Lucky. Oh, my God, family. I love y'all. Aw, Stacy Hawkins is
Thank
the greatest.
Thank you, Stacy. Tell your mama I love her.
He said, tell your mama. Yes. And we praying for your father as well. That's what's up.
Yeah, we praying for Willie. That's my boy.
Yeah, you see he on the picture?
Yeah, that's my guy.
A mentor can help you having a fresh perspective. And so we definitely got to be, mindful of that. A person that is the mentee can also help. Like I said, Miles. Okay. No, you don't. So we should be forever learning. I don't think we will ever get to a place where we just like, oh, I'm good. I've made it. Right. I don't need anything. I don't care. 32 years, baby, you still should be learning, okay?
I am.
It is never ending learning journey. And that's what I want people to realize. So the need for a mentor, I believe, is needed more now than ever, okay?
Absolutely.
With our women, very much with our men. Yeah. With our boys and with our girls. Just now, there was young people three young women who went missing, and now it's coming out that they may be suspects coming out of somebody's house because they didn't want to go home because they was in trouble. And one of the things I seen was comments saying, basically like, don't listen to these young girls. They lying, they fast. And what we don't want to do is be callous on the situation that girls come up missing too often. And so you don't want to take this one situation because they happen to, you know, be in this messed up situation, that now we don't want to hear them, to call it like, you know, like people playing, what is that called when the man kept saying the wolf is coming, and
Calling wolf.
Yeah, crying wolf. And so we don't want to desensitize ourselves to the fact that our young women still need help. And even though they wasn't missing, we still have women that are missing. So we don't want to turn a blind eye or doubt every time a young woman is coming up missing. We want to keep our eyes and be vigilant. Be vigilant to the fact that they are coming up missing out here. That just happened to be a situation where it wasn't. But there is a satisfaction that come from helping others and contributing to the development of someone. These are the perks that we get for being a mentor to a mentee. And so it's not just the mentee, getting all of it. It's for the person that is showing that, being available, guiding, and supporting the individual as well. It helps build communities. You know, when you think about Jesus mentored his disciples. Paul mentored Timothy. I absolutely love Timothy, the book of Timothy. God has already kind of laid the foundation for us. Moses mentored Joshua, preparing him to lead the Israelites to the promised land. And I'm talking about different mentoring relationships. If you're just joining, I'm talking about mentorship and the need for it, and how we're going to help our generation. Again, shout out to everyone that's watching. Shout out to Podcastic and YouTube and, you know, wherever else is showing. I see it's freezing, but I see y'all comments. I see y'all hearts and likes. Thank y'all so much. Jesus modeled a life of discipleship by spending time with teaching and demonstrating his ways to his followers. The book of Titus leaves bread for older men and women, mentoring younger generations in various aspects of a believer's life. And so when we think about the aspect of mentoring, where does it fit in your life? Whether it's home, your children, your workplace, where does mentoring fit in your life? You know, you think, why would I have a mentor? Do you feel like you have a mentor now in your adult life? Do you have somebody even now that you look up to?
I do. I have many. I have many mentors. I have brothers. Like I said, I got brothers in arms, you know, that's been with me 45 years. I got Malik Ward and Richard Hill and Robert Fox, and
that's what's up.
You know, I got my boy BJ. You know, I got Manny. I got, you know, our relationship has been always about respect. And people say, "Well, how y'all been together 45 years?" I said, "You got to be able to take constructive criticism."
Absolutely.
Because nobody can get in your tail like your boys can.
Tell the man to go home. Go be a father.
Nobody can get in your tail like your boys can, and they know your secrets. So, you know, nobody can get in your tail like that. But you've got to be able to take what they're saying.
Yeah.
And, you know, take it and add it to whatever you needed to add it to, because they will always be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And even though you might not like the tone or way it came, you still got to be able to accept the message that was given, because apparently it was a problem and they had to sit up and address it.
Absolutely. You know? That's good. That's real good. Do you have any daughters?
I do have 3.
How many children you have?
I have 6, 3 boys, 3 girls.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
So would you say that everything that you've learned, you have instilled into your children?
I can't tell you that, but I can tell you I've tried the best I could. You know, one thing you got to understand is that as a father, you can only have the access that a mother gives you.
Okay.
That's number one. I had some great people in my life who allowed me great access to my children.
Oh, good.
So all of my children and I are all on great terms.
Great.
I have great access to them
and
my grandchildren.
Nice.
But my situation isn't always indicative of everyone else's either.
Right.
So I don't want to use, my experiences as, the
catalyst.
the catalyst, or as the catalyst for everybody else's.
Right.
That is not true. But what I do when it comes to mine is, my sons, look, let's get some understood. Real quick, all right? My father was a man's man. His name was Abdul Rahim Muhammad. He was a Muslim.
Okay.
As well as my mother.
Okay.
I was born and raised a Muslim. There were things that could be said and things could be done, but one thing you could not do was call them by their first names. Because that was not allowed.
No, hecky no.
I tell people this story all the time. I went to school, first day of school, and they give you the little yellow card, and they ask you to put your mother and father name on there. I didn't know their first name. It was just mother and father. So they was like, because I said yes, sir, and no, sir, for so long that I didn't know my mom on that. They gave me the card and told me to give it to my mama to fill it out because I didn't know that name.
Wow.
But that's how it was in most Muslim homes. You didn't call your mother and father by their name. It was yes, sir, no, sir.
Some stuff we should have left and kept the same, honey.
But, I had a great role model. And if I can be, half the man as my father was, I think I would be still, a great man, But my sons, I'm sure I did the best I could. And they always, I still have my sons today. We still spend time.
That's good.
I was telling you the other day. I was saying last Saturday, my cousin gave me. It was my birthday weekend, and he threw he told me because I didn't realize it that I was the oldest male cousin on my mom's side of the family.
Wow.
And I didn't realize it, but it was the truth.
Wow.
So he was like, it's your birthday weekend, so, invite your sons, and I'm going to invite all our cousins. It was all our male cousins.
Nice.
And it was about 15, 16, 17. And they all was there to celebrate me because my cousin called everybody. And that's the first time I had all three of my sons in the same place at the same time.
That's amazing.
And it was such a great time.
That's
you know what I mean?
This is my birthday twin. Our
birthday's the same day.
On the same
Absolutely. That's
day.
my birthday twin, yeah.
Him and his twin.
Yeah.
Literally on the same day. But that is amazing. Yeah. Just having, that's amazing. I love seeing men together, just laughing, having a good time. It ain't no weird stuff.
No.
But with our last couple of minutes, how would you encourage those that are listening when it comes to mentorship?
What I will do is ask people to be empathetic of other people's problems because you might have people that's reaching out to you and you don't even see it. I want you to be able to look out of your own social circle, your own immediate family, because you might be out there shining and stunting, and you might have somebody who look up to you, and you don't see them because they're not the people you normally mess with. Look around you. There's always somebody who you can help lift up or give some guidance to, or even just something to help their day more meaningful. You could be at work and there's nothing wrong with giving somebody direction if you felt that they're misguided. There's nothing worse than allowing somebody to remain misguided when you have the opportunity for help. You know what I mean? So if you can feel like that you can just offer a suggestion, that's guidance. That's mentorship.
That's good.
When you can, you see somebody going through a tough time at home, and you can offer some guidance I'm sure that it would be meaningful because you probably been through that already.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I said before, most knowledge is experience. Mm-hmm. And if you've been through that before, that's all you need to be a mentor.
That's good. That's real good. Okay, you better come with the jewels. I thank you so much for coming on the show. I do want to leave with reasons why you should consider having a mentor. There is no age limit, so please don't put yourself in a box when it comes to getting that knowledge and that wisdom from other people. Having that personal and professional growth is something that you will get having a mentor, a new perspective, which I talked about earlier, a skill set development. I learned a lot from my mentor. It was amazing. It's amazing to see her at work, just always ready on the fly. So that's some of the things I learned. Just always be ready. You ain't got to get ready. Like, stay ready. And so I'm quick under pressure, and so those are the things I learned. Healthy platonic relationships. This is what you get from mentorship.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have anything to do with no romance. It's just strictly platonic. It is no bias. You can talk to them, again, like support. You get guidance. And so those are some of the things that the perks that you will get with having a mentor.
But also being a mentor will give you, insight on challenges from the youth's point of view. Sometimes you're out of touch because you are grown. You know what I mean?
That's real.
And they give you an insight from what they're going through from their side.
Absolutely.
From their side
also.
So
I'm gonna have you back, okay? Because you got some jewels, and I know you someone getting your own, so you got to think about your title. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you meet me here same time on Wednesday, 6:00. Okay, come back for these good vibes. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.